Ever since Election Day, we've heard a lot from Republicans who say they're finally going to repeal Obamacare. And the way they plan to do that is through a process called reconciliation. Simply put, reconciliation is a budget tool used for legislation that changes taxes, spending, or the deficit. So how does the process work? The reconciliation process begins when members pass a budget resolution that instructs the relevant committees in the House and the Senate to begin drafting a reconciliation bill that reduces the deficit. Once the committees complete their own proposals, they are sent to the budget committees in their respective chambers to be packaged together. Those committees group the proposals to form the reconciliation bill, and that's the legislation lawmakers will vote on. Once the reconciliation bill is completed, it doesn't necessarily head to the floor for a vote in the Senate. Because reconciliation can only be used on legislation that addresses fiscal policy, members can challenge a provision of the bill he or she believes violates what's called the Byrd Rule. The Byrd Rule was enacted to ensure reconciliation is being used to reduce the deficit and for items that are budgetary in their nature. And if a senator feels a part of the legislation doesn't do that, they can object. Once a senator objects, the Senate parliamentarian decides whether the provision in question passes muster. If the parliamentarian decides the part of the bill adheres to the rules governing the reconciliation process, then it can remain in the legislation. But if it violates the rules, then the measure in question is removed from the bill. Once that process is completed, the reconciliation bill heads to the floor for a vote. Reconciliation is an especially powerful tool in the Senate because there, the legislation only needs a simple majority, that's 51 votes, to pass. Since 1980, 20 reconciliation bills have been passed by Congress and signed into law, and you may recognize some of them. The Balanced Budget Act of 1997, which created the Children's Health Insurance Program, was passed using reconciliation, and the Bush tax cuts were included in reconciliation bills signed in 2001 and 2003. Democrats used reconciliation to change parts of Obamacare in 2010, and Republicans used the process to pass a bill repealing key parts of the healthcare law in 2015. But to no one's surprise, Obama vetoed that one. Republicans have already taken the first step in the reconciliation process that puts them on the path to repealing Obamacare. So that's how reconciliation works. And as Republicans get closer and closer to reaching their goal of repealing Obamacare, you're sure to be hearing a lot more about it.